Hi, and welcome to another episode of Honest AF Show with me, Daniela Clark.
And me, Barbara Ann Wild.
Hello, Miss Barbara Ann Wild. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm okay. What's new and exciting?
That's been the best of times and the worst of times.
I know.
You know, it's like...
and Mercury's not in retrograde, right?
Shh, no. But we had an eclipse yesterday, and we're in the middle of eclipse season. And, you know, eclipses tend to bring accidents and violence. And when my car accident was during the eclipse.
Oh, wow.
Eclipses are, travel. It's like Mercury retrograde on steroids.
Listen, the universe needs to behave itself. This is ridiculous.
It's been craziness, but
it really has been, right?
Yeah. It's we bought this amazing house, one of our dreams come true. So it's been like the high from Zach doing his first festival, all of that stuff, and then we've had some like serious situations with our dogs fighting, and that's been like tugging our heartstrings, and it's just been a horrible situation. Fortunately, I think everyone is going to be physically okay, but Zach is beside himself, heartbroken, and it's just been crazy times. I don't want to, I was thinking to myself on my way here, like, I want to get on Honest AF and like talk about fun things and giggle with you. And I'm like, there is a part of me that's just like, well, it's real life. I'm like,
it's real life.
I don't know if my brain is in my right there right now.
Yeah. Well, and Zach had his show at Yamava, right?
Yes, he did Experience Hendrix.
Right.
He did Yamava, which I did not end up going to because of all the stuff that went down.
Yeah.
But I went the night before last to Anaheim. And the Experience Hendrix tour, if anyone that's listening hasn't been and is on the fence, it's such an incredible thing that it is artists from, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, who's an incredible guitar player, all the way through to Taj Mahal or Billy Cox, who played with Hendrix in the day. These gentlemen in their 80s that are absolute blues rock and roll legends, and each artist does 2 or 3 songs, and Zach does 4 actually, but on one he only plays guitar, he doesn't sing as well, and just complete catalog of Jimi Hendrix, celebrating Jimi Hendrix's life. And it's just such a great crowd, great camaraderie. It really is. Zach calls it his Experience Hendrix family, and it is his Experience Hendrix family.
Is it a complete sausage fest? That's what I imagine.
It is. No, it's very similar demographic audience to Joe Bonamassa's shows.
Yeah.
Like people that go to theaters. It's theaters, it's casinos. It's an older crowd.
Yeah.
But there are couples, men and women alike, that Zach says he's met so many of the fans that said, I saw Jimi Hendrix in the day.
Wow.
So
that's so cool.
It's really, really cool. It's such a celebration of his life. And Janie Hendrix and John McDermott, her partner, have done such an incredible job honoring Jimmy's legacy.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
I haven't caught Zach doing that yet.
Oh, next time I thought you have. Otherwise, I didn't want to ask you to do the trek out to Yamava.
I don't think I have. I think I've always gone to like...
Gilby would love it too.
Yeah,
next time you guys have to come.
Speaking of an older crowd, Tom Jones is playing Yamava.
I tried to get us tickets for you because we know how much you love Tom Jones. I tried to get us tickets for the Greek, and it was insanity.
Insanity. I know. I looked also.
And our agent talking to their manager. But I'm going to try for Yamava.
Yeah, I saw that he's playing Yamava, and then I also saw that he's playing the Greek. And I mean, I've seen Tom Jones play I've got to say, probably about 20 times.
That's amazing.
I just love his voice so much.
He's your guy.
Yeah, I just love his voice so
thing.
much. Even in his, like, what is he now? Like 2000? I don't know. But
how old is he now? Really?
I don't know. He's got to be in his 80s.
Yeah, he has
He
to
looks
be.
fantastic. And here's the thing.
His energy.
The thing is,
I wish I had it.
his voice hasn't changed
No.
at all. He still sings killer. Like he sounds exactly the same. His voice is so rich. It's just so beautiful to listen to. And I just feel
agree.
like with an older star like him,
Yeah,
I want to see him as much as I can while he's still doing it.
absolutely.
You know, and his songs to me are so nostalgic. His music just kind of like takes me back. Like I remember, I think it was my mom that turned me on to Tom Jones.
Really?
Yeah, I'm positive it was my mom. But like I remember my mom and I like singing along to it. My mom
love
dancing around in the living room with like a hairbrush.
That's great.
To Pussycat, you know. And it just, I don't know, it just has such a nostalgic feel for me, and I love going. And I know you don't go on TikTok, but
I'm going to. I have to. It is the current world we live in. I really do need to step it up.
But I saw like people were talking about Frankie Valli has been.
I was going to ask you
performing. He's been performing, doing these shows,
So sad.
and people are saying it's elder abuse. Someone needs to stop putting him on stage because he's also like way up there.
He's 92.
Yeah, but you know, people are saying it's like elder abuse. You know, he can barely move. Why is he on stage singing? And he released a statement.
Did he?
He did. He said that he was completely aware of all the memes and all the press that he was getting by going out there and performing. And he just wanted to set the record straight. And, you know, this is coming from who knows? Him, his people? I don't know.
Yeah.
But he said he wants to set the record straight and that he will be performing as long as people keep buying tickets.
Good for him.
Period.
Good for him.
He's like, if people still want to hear the songs and I still enjoy doing it, then I'm going to keep doing it.
Okay. Love it.
So there you have that.
I love it.
But as far as Tom Jones goes, yeah, I'm in.
That's great.
I don't know. I just love Tom Jones. Gilby's like, oh God, here you go with your Tom Jones.
God bless him.
Mission.
I mean, I think it's great. And you know what? It's funny because I have a couple of my childhood, whom we were like more, my mother loved Nazareth. So she would put it on the turntable in the morning and the arm would just keep going over and over. Love Hurts, my 3 times divorced mother. So she had an affinity for that song in particular. And all of us kids would be like, oh my God, mom's up getting ready for work. And I get so enjoying Nazareth with her. But also the theme for The Godfather was more my childhood than Tom Jones. I remember seeing him on some of the variety shows.
Yes.
You know, but I also grew up on the East Coast.
Yes.
So it wasn't that whole Vegas thing, you know. But I would love to see him, especially with you, because it's such a special thing for you.
Oh, well, seeing him with me is a whole other experience.
Well, we'll have our panties in the ready. We gotta do some Honest AF show panties.
Seriously, we should.
And then we could throw them up to Tom Jones and maybe we'll get a call out.
Seriously. Do you know that I went as far, this is my fandom. By the way, little fun fact, Gilby and I walked down the aisle. I walked down the aisle to the Godfather theme. Just so you know.
See, we have so many connections.
There's
it's
so much like little synergy things. Because Gilby and I had a Godfather, we had a Italian mafia theme wedding.
I know. I love it when I see
So that's
the
what I walked
pictures
down
and
the aisle
video.
to.
It's amazing.
But because he's Jewish and I'm Italian, so we decided to just have
The other way around.
To have,
he's Italian, you're Jewish.
Is that what I did?
You said
I'm
Italian,
out of it.
he's Jewish. I'm like,
I'm so out of it. I'm so out of it.
It's early in the morning.
It's early.
Daniela.
It's way too early. My hair's still wet from being in the car and from getting out of the shower and everything. So, wait, where was I going with that? I was going somewhere.
You're
Why do I
weighing
do
about
that?
the theme of The Godfather and how
No, we were talking about Tom Jones. We were trying to go
Gilby was
back to that. How I went so far deep into Tom Jones.
Yeah.
I love when I remember things. Okay. So when I had Frankie B, when I owned Frankie B, and we were doing fashion shows, I used to, and this was, I guess I was in my 30s at this point.
Early 2000s?
Yeah, early 2000s. I was in my 30s, and I would drive to work, and in order to get myself revved up, to get all my juices flowing, and get myself revved up to go in and like work and design and do all this stuff, I would listen to Tom Jones really loud in my car on my way downtown every day. That was like my thing.
It's your intro music.
It's my get to business music. So I would listen to it so much so that when I was doing my fashion shows, I used to do these fashion shows every year with Mercedes-Benz during Fashion Week. And one year I decided, I always had like themes for my fashion shows. Like one year I got the Pussycat dolls.
Oh,
and
awesome.
my theme was Barbarella. I was really inspired by Barbarella, and
who hasn't been of our age?
My God, the sexiest movie ever, and just like the fashion of it and everything.
Love her
and
too.
I was really into like the whole fembot thing, and
so cool.
The big hair, the makeup, everything. So I reached out to Robin Anton from the Pussycat Dolls, and I asked her if I could get the Pussycat Dolls to come on the runway and do a little Barbarella type dance. And I had this pink velvet round bed that spun around on the runway.
Oh, cool.
And it was done in like pink velvet with like pink shag pillows everywhere and everything. And I covered the runway in shag carpeting. And I had the Pussycat Dolls come out dressed in my clothes. And they were on the bed, like, just
doing their
thing, like these sexy moves on the bed. And I loved it. It was so much fun. And then another year I had a love theme, and I had Gilby come out on the runway with me. I've always done like different things. Well, one year I was like, I want to get Tom Jones to come out and sing on the runway before the show, and then have the models come walking while he's singing. I want him crooning. So I somehow managed to get a meeting with his son who manages him. And I called them up and I was like, I'm a deranged fan. I'm a completely deranged fan. And I have this denim line, and nothing would make me happier than to have Tom on the runway. And we were going to do it. And
I can't even believe this is amazing.
We were totally going to do it. I had several meetings with them. My goal was to just get a meeting with him,
of course,
which never happened.
Of course.
Because I think they were afraid of me. But they're like, what is this crazy woman going to do? But we talked about it. And then at the end, I think it was just going to be too expensive to pull off.
I was going to say, he's got to, for his appearances, it's got to be a lot of money.
Yeah, it was just too expensive.
And the cost of throwing those shows
the cost of the shows alone is expensive. Yeah. And I was sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, so they did give me the money to do the shows.
Right.
And in hindsight, when I think about it now, I probably should have gone back to them and said, listen, kids, I can get Tom Jones. I'm sure they would have thrown in extra money for that.
True.
But I didn't think of it at the time. And I was just like, am I going to have to come out of pocket for this? It's too much.
Of course.
But I did do one of the fashion shows I did. God, I wish I would have known you back then because it was so fun.
I always, that song that says, I wish if I would have known you then, that song that it always reminds me of you and I, because we would, it's still astonishing to me how close our circles were related.
I know.
And that we never even met each other.
We met later in life.
Yes.
It's crazy.
You're the gift that keeps on giving for the rest of my life. I'm like, hey, who knows? Maybe when we were younger, we would have went in totally separate directions or something. Maybe
who knows?
I don't know. There's some
the timing wasn't right for us at that time.
Absolutely.
It's all about timing.
Yeah.
And but the one fashion show I did that was really, really fun, and I don't know if I ever told you about it, but it was in. I'm sorry, I'm still having problems with my voice. If I keep clearing my throat and it's annoying everybody, if you have misophonia, I do apologize. But Mr. Clark was running the air conditioning like crazy because we're having another heat wave. And I've decided that the air conditioning is what's really affecting my voice.
I agree with you 100%.
I'm like one of those precious singers like Mariah Carey that needs to be
you gotta knock.
No air conditioning.
One for yes, twice for no.
Exactly.
Get a bell so he could start bringing you waters and snacks.
Seriously. But the one fashion show that I did that was just so much fun was, I'm bringing this all up because I've been feeling really nostalgic with all the fashion shows that have been going on in Paris right now during Fashion Week.
Incredible.
Oh, it reminded me of all those days and the complete thrill of it, the anxiety, the stress that led up to it, all the hard work, and then the release at the end of it.
I only had a little tiny taste of it once when
you
lent my shoes to Estelle to use in her Mark and Estelle line that she showed in New York Fashion Week. So that's my only little bit. And I didn't have any of the work to do. I just gifted her the shoes to use. But we were there for the fittings and through the, all the pre-production for the week and all of that.
Right.
And it's incredible what goes into it.
So much goes into it. The one that I did that really sticks out for me, besides the Pussycat Doll one, was I did one in the Hollywood Hills, like right below the Hollywood sign in Hollywood Park.
Yeah.
And I decided I wanted to recreate Woodstock.
Oh.
And I wanted to have this outdoor fashion show and have like
Coachella.
Have bands playing,
awesome.
Have the bands playing during the fashion show and have all kinds of vendors and all this stuff. It was such a huge undertaking and it was so stressful because we had all these bands that played.
Yeah.
Gilby played. I hired Nika Costa, who love.
Love her.
She played. And we had, there was just so many, Carmen Electra walked the runway for me.
Awesome.
And which was it was so fun, and she's just unreal. But we had tons and tons of celebrities showed up, and realistically, it was supposed to be only a couple hundred people was supposed to come,
right.
And I had I got a parking permit. And
because you have to have all those permits.
You have to have permits. You have to have all the stuff that you have to do. And Tyra Banks showed up, and Dave Navarro, and Muriel Hemingway, and all these
wow
celebrities. It was it was crazy. I can't even remember everybody that was there.
Right.
But 800 people showed up.
Oh.
Instead of 200.
Wow.
So 800 people showed up.
Parking alone.
And the city, the people, the neighborhood around the park started complaining about all the cars, all the people that were there.
Right.
The city started towing all the cars.
Oh, no.
It was a nightmare. And I had to pay to get everybody's cars out of tow. And it was a real nightmare. But it was a lot of fun. And when it was over, it was I couldn't believe that I had pulled something like this off, but it was really, really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, just watching all the fashion shows and stuff have been getting kind of nostalgic, oh, you know what? You know, it would be the most ab-fab moment of all time was if you and I went to a fashion show during Paris Fashion Week.
I think next year we should make it a goal.
That would just be so fun.
When do they do the fall one? Right now they're doing spring, right?
They're doing spring now.
Is it January or February?
Usually it's January, I think. Yeah, January.
Well, maybe we should go.
Or is that New York? I don't know. I'm a little off schedule right now.
Wouldn't it be great if it's in February for your birthday?
That would be really fun.
Because I'm going to be in Paris for your birthday anyway, which I really want you to be in Paris for your birthday.
We need to make that happen.
Because Pantera is playing the day after.
Yeah.
The 15th.
That would be fun to go a few days early.
Yes.
Hit the town.
Yeah.
That would be really fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to work on that.
Metallica Oh, I don't know. Those are not Metallica shows. Because I was going to say, because Chloe Trio is French, and she goes to all the shows when Metallica, she coordinates it and goes when
Right,
Metallica's
right.
playing. But her band, Boulevard of Eyes, is she's starting to really work a lot and doing really well. So kudos to her. But yeah,
That would be really, really fun. It would be such a great girls trip. I would
think we
love to
need to
go
do
to
that.
Fashion Week and hit all the fashion
Yeah.
haunts and stuff. That would be so fun. Did you see any of the fashion shows?
Only what you sent me.
Oh
The
my
Chloe
God.
show is fantastic. I haven't really seen anything else because I've been so
For
crazed.
theatrics, my favorite is Rick Owens. Just for the theatrical part of
I
it,
always
it's just
love
so
him
fun.
I love his stuff, though. I really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I just love the whole aesthetic.
Yeah. It's
You
a
know?
lot of fun to watch. And our friend Ace,
Yes.
who's married to Matt Sorum, Ace Harper, she has her own fashion line now. And I saw that she was in Paris for it.
Right.
So
Is she doing a show or is she just showing in like a showroom?
I think she's just showing in her showroom.
Right.
But really cool.
That's very
fun.
cool.
Yeah, so fun. And what else has been going on with us? God, we've been so busy, and busy doing what? I don't know. But just like our social life has just been kind of busy. Speaking of fashion, remember Frankie and I did the Forever 21
Yes,
collab.
Of course.
So our friend ended up introducing me to the Forever 21 folks. Her name is Chinsia. Her and her husband, who's also a musician, and she's in the fashion business.
Okay.
She invited us to dinner at her house. She just had a baby.
Aw.
Invited us over to dinner at her house, and we couldn't make it because Gilby had something come up. Gilby went to go do the Royal Machines show, so we
Right.
decided to just have them over at our house
Oh,
afterwards.
nice.
So I had them over for dinner the other night. I cooked up a storm.
Oh my. You're
I
brave.
Cooked up a storm. I made the yummiest, like Middle Eastern food
Yeah.
because I wouldn't dare make Italian food for an Italian person.
I hear you.
Gilby was mad at me. He was like, "Why aren't you cooking your really good Italian food that you make?" And I was like, "Well, because she's Italian and I feel like insecure about it." And he goes, "I'm Italian. You shouldn't feel insecure about it."
That's
He goes, "You
hysterical.
make grandma's recipes great. You should just make it. Why
Those
are you being
cookies you make
insecure?"
are pretty rad.
He was like,
Yum.
"What are you being insecure about? You've got to be confident about the way you cook."
What do you make Italian? What is your thing?
I make everything. I make a lot of stuff. His grandma, Gilby's grandma, taught me tons of stuff to make.
Awesome.
So I make all kinds of things. I think one of his favorite things that I make is probably just my sauce. He
Oh,
loves the sauce because I
yum.
make it just like his grandma used to make it.
Right.
So instead, I made Middle Eastern food,
Okay.
and I made majadra. Have you ever had that?
I don't know.
It's so good. And it's so healthy. It's so good for you. It's loaded with protein.
Yeah.
It's basically just lentils, and you mix it with rice.
Okay.
But this trick to it is you saute onions, and you
Okay.
caramelize them and chop them up really little, and then you put them with the olive oil that you sauteed them in, which gives the majadra its flavor.
Yeah.
And you mix it all together. I substitute, instead of rice, I like to use couscous.
Okay. I love
And so
couscous.
I do couscous with the onions, salt, pepper, olive oil, and the lentils. And
Perfect.
it is divine. And you can serve it with a little bit of Greek yogurt with garlic and
Yeah.
chopped up cucumber. It's so good. And it's just loaded with protein
It's
and
healthy. I mean,
healthy.
every study that I've read, they always say Middle Eastern food and is Mediterranean diet
Yeah.
is literally the healthiest for us.
It's so good. And then I made like a little side, not side, the main dish. That was the side. The main dish I made was like lemon chicken with sweet
Yum.
potato and all vegetables and stuff. So, and then you just
Wow.
pour it over like on the side, and then you put the couscous down. It was
Sounds yummy.
really good.
Yeah.
But Barb,
What?
I really felt my age.
Oh no.
They came over with their baby.
Oh.
And let me tell you, my dogs are wild. You know how Crocodile is. He jumps all over, and he doesn't stop jumping and barking, and he gets so excited.
Yeah.
And the baby's only 9 months old. So between cooking all this food and, grocery shopping and cooking and preparing the house, making the house look like no one's lived there before.
That's always the best. Don't you love it?
You run around like a lunatic trying to make the house look unlived in.
I know.
And clean. And you cook all this food. And then they came over with the baby, and I'm trying to like be civilized, but the dog is jumping and barking and jumping all over them and their baby. And I'm like trying to get a hold of the dog. I was exhausted.
I'm sure.
I was exhausted.
That's probably what happened to your voice.
Seriously exhausting. And of course, Gilby and her husband, Josh, just go downstairs into the studio and disappear for hours. And I can hear them. They're jamming in there. And she's, and I'm bouncing the baby up and down, and I'm holding onto the dogs for dear life so they'd leave the baby alone.
Yeah.
I was exhausted. By the time they left, I was finished. I was done. I was like, I can't stick a fork in me. I'm done.
The other night, it's so funny because, I'm definitely more of an early bird than you are, but at the Experience Hendricks show, which is an early show, like Zach is off stage by 9 something, and then the other part of the show happens, and then Zach stays for the bow. But they were literally, he was back in the car at 10:30, but around 9:45, I found him, and I'm like, give me the key to the Bronco. And he's like, why? I'm like, I have to take a nap. I went out.
You hit a wall sometimes.
I slept in the Bronco till he came out. I'm like, I don't know how I'm ever going to make any of these shows past a certain time. I'm like, and
you don't nap.
I don't. It's so weird because if I do nap, it doesn't refresh me. It makes me just want to not get out of bed for the rest of the day. If I nap at noon, I could sleep all the way till the next day.
Really?
It's just not.
I need a disco
Zach
nap.
does the cat naps too, and Randy, I can't do it.
I have to have a disco nap.
Yeah.
I have to have it every day. At the same time, usually at around 6 o'clock, just give me 15 minutes. That's all I need. I always tell Gilby, come and get me in 15 minutes. Don't let me go any longer than that.
Yeah. If I did that at 6 o'clock, I would literally wake up the next morning.
I wake up at like 15 minutes after I take my nap, and then I'm like, okay, we take the dogs for a walk. I get dinner going.
Wow.
But I have to have it. It has to I have to rejuvenate myself because I just
really
get so tired.
It just doesn't work for me. And maybe it's because I get up so early. So 6 o'clock is like bedtime.
Do you know that I saw a study that says women need more sleep than men? And you know why?
Because of our men making us tired.
Draining
of us of our last bit of life that we have.
They definitely drain us. They drain us. No, it's because women use more brain power than men. I thought you'd like to know that.
That I don't doubt at all. I definitely don't doubt.
I thought you'd like to know that.
Yeah,
I told Gilby he wasn't
wasn't impressed.
No, he wasn't fascinated by that fact at all.
We'll save that for Honest AF show.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I actually believe that.
Yeah. It's
because we multitask. Most men, at least the ones that I know of, very rarely can think of more than one thing at a time.
No. Yeah, most men
and my husband has ADHD in the worst way possible. And he's always got, leaving something on the stove when he's going, every door is open. He never shuts a door. Your complaint with Gilby's loudness, mine is, my husband has never shut a cabinet or a door in his life, probably.
He just leaves everything open.
Everything open. Everything open.
Gilby leaves lights on everywhere.
Oh no, Zach turns lights off, but he leaves everything open.
Mm-hmm. I'm always the one flipping light switches off all the time because everything is on. Like every light in the house, every TV in the house. I'm like, what is happening right now? We are just bleeding money and using energy.
Thank God for solar power. We're completely self-sufficient now with the solar energy thing, so that has helped a lot. But oh my God, yeah. So I just think that I completely see where that is probably very factual because at any given time we're doing 15 different things.
Yeah, we are. We juggle.
That's why we lose our train of thought so much. It's not because we're getting of a certain
We
stature.
just have a million different things on our minds.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. We're not. Yeah, it's true.
Not yet.
So, Okay, so is it time for Flix AF?
Yes. What have you been watching?
Oh my God, Barb, it is so freaking good and funny. It's called, wait for
I'm
it.
still looking to get Apple TV because I want to watch the Flamingo Paradise that last show you talked about. It just reminds me of like the tropics. What's the name of it? Something Paradise, or you told the one you did on the last Honest
Are you
Answer.
asking me to remember something I
my
said on the
Lord.
last episode? Are
Honey,
you
do
out of your
remember?
minds?
What did she talk about?
It was a show. Oh, Palm Royale.
Palm Royale. See, I'm thinking
It's so
palm
good.
trees,
Yeah, Palm
Florida.
Royale.
Okay,
Yeah,
I knew I was in the right zip code.
You really need to watch
Okay.
it. You will enjoy it thoroughly.
But I don't have Apple Plus, so I've been like, okay, am I going to just like do that? Because now all this craziness with Netflix merging with.
The whole thing is crazy. And can I just tell you, we're spending a fortune subscribing to all these different channels. It's so ridiculous.
Have you cut the cord on like a major network yet? Like, have you gotten rid of Netflix or Comcast or whatever it is that you do?
We haven't gotten, we're still like on DirecTV too.
DirecTV, that's what I meant.
Yeah, we're still on that.
We are too.
But Gilby keeps saying he wants to cut the cord on it and just subscribe to the ones we want to.
The ones that we watch.
Yeah,
right?
because we're like, I feel like we're paying double for everything.
I think we're paying way more than that.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
Yeah.
But okay, back to Flix AF, what I've been watching, and I freaking love it. It is called, God, what's wrong with my brain? Nothing But a Good Time.
I distracted you. I got you off on a.
Yeah, Nothing But a Good Time.
Okay. I was hearing about that. Who is in that?
Okay, it's on Prime. It's on Amazon Prime.
Mark Striegel from Ozzy's Boneyard posted a photo of it the other day in Times Square, and he said he had to because it's such an incredibly great show.
It is so good. It's a limited series. There's only a few episodes.
Okay.
I think there's only 3 or 4 episodes. But it's, it's a Poison song.
Right.
And so it is kind of like a documentary about 80s bands.
Oh.
And
I didn't think that at all.
Yeah, it's kind of a documentary about 80s bands. It is, they do these, it's a lot of interviews. Like Alan Niven is in it.
Okay.
All these Doc McGee, there's a lot of interviews and things like that, but their stories are freaking hilarious. They talk about Dokken, Poison, Guns N' Roses. There is a story about Motley Crue that Gilby and I were pissing ourselves. We could not stop laughing.
I can't wait.
There was like, there's a lot of stories that we know because,
yeah, of course,
we've been around.
Yeah.
That scene for so long.
Yeah.
But there were so many stories that we didn't know that we were dying. We were just jumping out of our seats, screaming.
Amazing.
They were so funny. And they do these reenactments, these cartoon reenactments.
That's hysterical.
We were dying.
Oh, that's so good.
It is so funny. And there's so many great interviews and great, great, great stories.
Amazing.
It is definitely worth a watch.
Oh, I'm going to definitely watch that.
It's like Poison, Warrant, Dokken, Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue. I can't even think of all the bands that they cover. Rat. So if you're into like all the 80s, Skid Row.
Yeah.
If you're into, literally, you and I could have done this show alone.
I was going to say,
we have a lot of our own stories.
Yeah.
But we'd probably get in trouble.
Actually, for people that are listening to the show, most of the time you hear these stories and you think they're not true, they're true.
Oh, yeah, they're all true.
Yeah.
They're all completely true.
It was madness.
Oh, my, it was complete madness. Like, you forget how crazy those times in the 80s were. And the fact that we all, like, came out of it, shocking.
Not all of us.
Not all of us. Some of us didn't, yes, sadly.
Some of us haven't made it through.
Yeah. But the stories were just unbelievable. Gilby and I were killing ourselves. It was so
I can't
funny.
wait to watch it.
We binged it. It was so fun.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Fun.
I'd watch that for sure.
Awesome.
It's really fun, especially if you're into that music and that time period. It's hilarious. The stories are just too good. Too good.
So fun.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to watch it for sure. Zach will love that too because Zach loves any kind of lore.
Yeah.
between being Mrs. Kravitz and also having lived it and knowing a lot of these people. He lives for this stuff.
Yeah, it's very fun. It's a fun watch. Anyway,
I'm excited.
That's my story. Flicks AF for you. Now is the time for Barb's Bag of Tricks. By the way, Barb, I got to tell you, I got a message last night from a fella that listens to us.
Oh.
And he said that he loves listening to the show because it gives him some female perspective.
Oh, nice.
But what he especially likes is your marital aids.
Oh, there you go.
For him and his wife. So he very much enjoys that. So.
You know, it's funny, too, because I was thinking about it today. We're almost in the place in my life where I like to start my Christmas shopping. And I have started it already. I don't want to freak people out because my goal is to be finished at Halloween. That is usually my goal. Mm-hmm. My kids have made me start to do more shopping in November because they give me ideas way late, so I get forced into it. But I want to start doing bag of tricks for our holidays, gift giving advice. But today is not that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I have today, or the one thing that I want to talk about today, it's funny that you're talking about this Nothing But a Good Time and a TV show and that whole thing is, so most of us who have come out on the other side of the 80s, some of us don't have our hearing anymore. And most of us don't.
Yes, that's true.
So I've been trying really hard to find a really good product to use so when I'm going to shows now, I can still hear the highs and dial in what I like to hear, especially the guitar. Obviously, Zach counts on me to go to front of house and listen what the mix is, and it's kind of like a thing, is the bass too high? Are you hearing my guitars and
do you
whatever.
find that that's like our job?
It is my job for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
I find that it's my job too. Like Gilby always says, go stand by the soundboard, go listen, make sure everything sounds okay, make sure my vocals are mixed, make sure my guitar is loud enough.
I mean, honestly, we know what they want to hear.
Yeah.
And we've gone through a bunch of different front of house guys for the last couple of years because other guys have gotten other gigs while Zach has been doing Pantera.
Right.
And, when he was doing Ozzy at the same time. So, Black Label has had moments where there's big gaps. So our regular guy isn't always with us.
Yeah.
And these poor front of house guys, the minute they see me coming to the soundboard, they're like, oh shit, here she is. So anyway, so I've been trying to find an earplug that doesn't completely kill especially the highs, the guitars.
Right.
And you always get the bottom end, And this company, I'm sure you've heard of them. Most everyone in the industry has Eargasm.
I haven't heard of Eargasm. The one that Gilby got some earplugs from is Eargo.
Oh, I love Eargo. I got them for my hearing aids. I got fitted with hearing aids by them. Yeah. Great company too.
Great company.
But these are basically made for people that listen to music, and it just protects your ears from the really high decibel levels that are damaging to your ears.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It filters out all the decibels that could hurt you, but it leaves in all the richness and all of the levels that you want to hear to still enjoy music. So it'll cut it down to like 19 decibels, which, regular earplugs, it's usually like 31 or 33. And so everything sounds flat. I always find myself pulling one earplug out a little bit
I do too.
so that I could hear.
Yeah.
These are phenomenal.
Yeah.
So they come in these cool little cases. You could put it on your key ring, which is great because I always leave earplugs. I'm always running to the guitar tech and saying, "Can I have earplugs? I forgot them." Now I put this on my key ring and I have them with me all the time.
Yeah.
And they are so great. They're just like, they have this great little storage. They have a cord that's clear, so you can wear them behind your head, like on your. When you're at the gig, you can wear them around you and put them in so that you don't lose them. And they're clear. But they're really great because they are designed to let in the music that you want to hear. And,
that's awesome.
And
I gotta get those for
all
Frankie.
the harmful. They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Amazon sells them. They're not crazy expensive. You don't need to be fitted for them. They send a bunch of different sizes.
Oh, that's
and
great.
I love them. They're great.
That is awesome. That's a great idea. And Frankie
they have different
definitely
colors. They have different. They have different decibel level reduction rates. You can they have different ones for musicians than they do for if you don't wear in-ears that you can use to lessen the stage volume, but still allow in what you need to hear. But for spectators or fans of music, these are great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
I know that I worry all the time about Frankie because she goes to so many shows and she plays, and I'm like, protect your hearing, protect your hearing.
You know, you only get it one. You get one set. It's not like they regenerate for certain things. I mean, some things you can get back, but if you're better off preventative.
Yeah.
Than worrying about it once it's gone.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
it's so important to protect your hearing. I mean. Me, I've got bionic hearing, and of course, I've got misophonia. So,
I mean, I don't know what to say about that, but I will say that it is so crazy because Zach and I both had our hearing tested, and what he's lost are the high highs and female and children's voices. I lost.
How convenient,
right? And I lost low voices, the lows.
Right.
So when poor Hendrix. It must be his exact register of his speaking voice. He's like, Mom, you can't hear me at all. I'm like, I have to read lips and have him in the room.
Really?
Because he has such a low voice, but not a baritone. It's just like a very low, gorgeous, ear-pleasing voice. But oh my God, if I can't hear him half the time, I'm like, Hendrix, come in the kitchen. I need to hear what you're saying to me. He's like, wow.
Gilby can't hear me at all. I find that
Gilby doesn't hear me either.
No, he doesn't hear you.
Lucky for him.
He tells me I mumble. I'm like, I hardly mumble, Gilby. You can't hear. But like I have to repeat myself like 2-3 times before he hears me.
Zach, I have to do that with Zach too, but Zach, a lot of it's selective too with my voice.
Yeah, but what's so
he listens
interesting
to other people that are talking in the same room, but with me, it'd be just like completely.
Yeah, that's so interesting because
that's being married.
Yeah. Because Gilby will sit in the studio and he can hear every detail of what's going on in a song and in a part.
Very selective hearing they have.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It is selective.
I wish I had that.
I mean, so do I. I wish there was a button where I could just turn it down and just be like, okay, now I don't want to hear anything.
Zach's father used to do that. Zach's dad was in World War II and a bomb went off close to him and he had shrapnel in his leg and he lost his hearing. He could hear with hearing aids, but we would laugh because when I'd be with my girlfriends and we'd all be over, I'd hear his dad tune us out. He'd turn the hearing aid really, we'd go, woo, like, okay, Dad, I wish I could do that all the time. And he was like, he'd just smile. And I was like, yeah, I know, you just turned us off so you don't have to listen to us yakking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, okay, well, I think that does it for this.
You got through it and you sound great.
This episode of Honest AF. Check us out on our socials. Honest AF Show is our Instagram and YouTube, Facebook, everything. HonestAFShow.com is our website.
And TikTok, I think we have a D and a B after Honest AF.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Make sure you check us out. Subscribe to our YouTube. It's fairly new. We've only been doing it for a couple months. And until next time, y'all take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. We obviously need to do a disclaimer here, so we want you to know we are not doctors or experts by any stretch of the imagination. We are just a couple of gals that are looking for magical products, procedures, and experiences. And in our quest, we will share our honest as fuck opinions with you. So please make sure before you try anything we talk about that you know your own restrictions and do so at your own risk. Do not blame us for any of your issues. We're just experimenting too.